We need to talk about gullibility, ignorance, the inability to learn. These are all things that got us where we are right now. I don't often go looking through MAGA content because it churns my stomach and I'm not a sadomasochist. But there are many videos that I have run across where you have to ask yourself how these people tie their shoes in the morning. One person's video, who I actually caught a clip of on Old Man Murphy's stitch of her, which he's a good guy, you should go follow him. She thinks that taxes are paid by the American people to the Democrats. And she says that now that we have a Republican administration coming in, we won't have to pay taxes anymore. I would love to see her reaction when she does nothing in April and gets a call from the IRS. Ran across a video of a guy whose page is entirely full of Trump ass-kissing, saying that rooting against Donald Trump is essentially rooting against America. Imagine thinking this is a hot take in defense of a man who tried to overthrow his own government and is an asset to our foreign enemies like Russia and the Taliban. Imagine thinking this about Donald Trump, but not about Joe Biden. Rooting against Joe Biden is totally fine, right? A man who didn't try to overthrow his own government? These people's hot takes are more like shit-flavored ice cream. Yet they still keep saying dumb things like this with their full chest. So why is that? It's because the information they think they have usually just comes from someplace like Fox News or Newsmax, or from their favorite right-wing podcaster or Joe Rogan. People who themselves have not only been caught lying, and in Fox's case having to pay out almost $1 billion for lying, but also are completely clueless and have never taken a civics course. Of course, you don't have to be an expert on the situation in order to understand what's going on. I myself am not an economist. I took a lot of political science classes in college, but that doesn't make me an expert. However, I do a lot of reading, something MAGA refuses to do. For example, they're all thinking Trump is going to make us not pay taxes, which would literally bankrupt the country. Trump is already suddenly warning us about a Great Depression because of the horrible economy he says he's inheriting. Meanwhile, he inherited a booming economy from Obama, calling it a horrible economy, but it was suddenly the greatest economy in the world once he took office. But this is just him priming his base, so that when his economic policies do cause a depression, he can then blame it on Biden somehow, and they will gleefully eat that up. Because according to economists, Donald Trump's tariffs and his mass deportations are going to tank the economy. By the estimates of the experts, it will spike unemployment and inflation well above 10% each. While under Joe Biden, our unemployment has hit the lowest it's been in 50 years, and the global inflation that took place during Joe Biden's administration started over a year and a half earlier during COVID, which only maxed out at 9% and has since come below 3%. Donald Trump's economic plans would make us far worse than even that. In fact, multiple studies have found that Donald Trump's plans would spike inflation and wipe out jobs. And if you're a MAGA who's complaining that this article is from CNN, click on the actual study they're referencing, because it's a study from the Peterson Institute for International Economics. Once again, do the required reading, don't just look at a headline you don't like. What is this horrible economy that Donald Trump is talking about? Because since our recovery from COVID, we currently have the strongest economy in the G7. While Donald Trump and the Republicans are claiming that we're going to head for a depression soon because of the horrible economy, what the fuck are they even talking about? It is simply them priming their base and their gullible voters for when they themselves tank the economy. In fact, if you'll remember a couple months ago, Elon Musk even agreed with someone on Twitter who said that Donald Trump was going to tank the economy, but eventually it'll get better. And his response was, sounds about right. So MAGA, please, do some learning. Please read something and try to understand how the government works, how taxes work, how tariffs work. Because once again, these tariffs are not going to make us all rich, and they're not going to harm other countries. They're just going to harm us, the people who are buying shit. If you had done some reading and learned about this ahead of time, maybe November 5th would have turned out differently, because now you're all just regretting your vote. Except for the true ass-kissers who will follow Trump to the ends of the earth, even when he drives that bus right off the cliff. Thinking somehow that they are the greatest patriots on earth, when they've spent the last 4 years dogging a president who actually was helping the economy, and wasn't enriching himself and betraying his own country in the process. While you simultaneously show us that you don't know the definition of the word patriot either. Maybe you should all follow your own advice and do better.